Hello everyone, and welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane Extra channel, and we are continuing our stage previews of the 2025 Giro d'Italia. Stage 8 of the Giro is a demanding 197 kilometer transverse stage across the heart of the Apennines, accumulating a significant 3,700 meters of elevation, while the most substantial climbs are positioned earlier in the stage. It still culminates with a sharp, punchy ascent to the Gagliole, setting the stage for potentially an explosive finale before the descent into Castel Raimondo. The partenza takes place in Gualianova, a coastal town on the Adriatic Sea in the Abruzzo region, and from this coastal town the riders will set off, leaving the seaside behind and veering inwards and upwards in terms of the stage. The profile shows a gradual incline for the first 12.9 kilometers, allowing the peloton to ease into the mountainous terrain that awaits. The first categorized climb of the day is the Croce de Calce, peaking at 729 meters, around 60 kilometers into the stage, and does have 8.6 kilometers of a distance with an average gradient of 4.6%. The profile indicates a fairly consistent climb, likely serving as a warm-up for more challenging ascents of the day and a potential launch pad for early breakaway attempts as well, and key points in the mountains jersey classification. Following a descent and an undulating section, the riders will face the longest and arguably most challenging climb of the day, but at the foot of that there will be the second sprint point as well, 90 kilometers into the stage. However, after that, the most challenging climb is the Valico di Santa Maria Maddalena, peaking at 1,465 meters, stretching for 13.1 kilometers in total with an average gradient of 7.4%. This climb is a significant test for the peloton, and the first part of the climb is fairly easy until 1.5 kilometers into the climb, and here it goes up for a 6% gradient, and the gradient increases ever more in the next section from 5.4 to 12.2 kilometers. And here we have an average gradient of 8.1%, and the peak is 14% here. And the last 2.4 kilometers of the climb is 7.5% before they reach the top of the climb. The descent that follows is long and will require concentration after the arduous climb. The middle section of the stage features more undulating terrain before the next categorized climb, the Montelago, which peaks as just over 1 kilometer in elevation. The climb is shorter at a length of 5.5 kilometers with an average gradient of 4.6%, but coming after the Santa Maria Maddalena, it will add to the accumulated fatigue. The profile suggests a fairly steady climb, unlikely to cause major splits, but enough to further whittle down the peloton if teams such as Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe and UAE Team Emirates are going to put some men at the front. An unclassified climb is next, the Castel Santa Maria, which peaks in at 515 meters. Though short at just 300 meters with an average gradient of 7.4%, it will serve as a final sting in the tail before the decisive battle, and it also looks like that is where we're going to have the bonus sprints, so that will give a bit more an incentive to some of the GC riders to do something if it isn't a breakaway. The stage culminates with a climb to Gagliole. While the profile indicates it rises for only 700 meters, the stated average of the gradient is 9.3% and signifies a very steep wall. This punchy ascent, located just 6.5 kilometers from the finish in Castel Raimondo, will be the crucial battleground. The profile clearly shows a sharp, intense climb followed immediately by a descent. As the text mentions, the riders will pass through Gagliole with 6.5 kilometers remaining, tackling 4.5 kilometers of a descent before a final 2 kilometers of flat road to the finishing line in Castel Raimondo. Castel Raimondo, while hosting a Tirreno Adriatico finish 10 years ago, a stage won by Wout Poels after an attack on a similar final climb, has a less extensive history with the Giro d'Italia. However, the memory of that brutal final in Tirreno Adriatico will no doubtly be fresh in the minds of the riders and spectators. Stage 8 of this year's Giro is certainly designed for a late attack on a steep slopes of Gagliole, with the subsequent fast descent offering a chance for a solo rider or a group to hold off the chasing peloton for a victory. The combination of significant earlier climbing and the explosive final ascents makes this stage where both strong climbers with a punch and daring descenders could thrive. Certainly a very exciting stage on paper. But we might as well come to our favorite part of the stage previews, and that is the predictions. And obviously this stage could be one that goes to the breakaway, looking at it and also where it is right before the gravel stage, as we know. So it could be one where the GC guys decide to take it a bit easier and let a breakaway go up the road. So from that point, this is quite a hard one to predict. Someone like Pio Bilbao could potentially be in the mix if he's let up the road. Or we could see some of the Italian teams reach out for glory and potentially get a stage win. We also have XDS Astana, who are looking very interested in being aggressive this year. So for that reason, I think maybe Wout Poels could replicate it. Or the likes of Fortunato, if he is up there in chasing Mountain's jersey points. But if it comes down to a GC group, I think that Primoz Roglic could have the kick to outkick anyone here and take the win. Or we could even see Isaac Del Toro try and take the win. So it's one for the punchy riders at the finish, but will it be one for the breakaway? I think that is the bigger question. Who's going to be winning? Is it going to be from the break, or is it going to be from the peloton? We could equally see Soudal Quickstep really go for it now that they don't have Mikel Landa within their ranks as well. But with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and why not check out some of the other videos here on the channel about the Giro d'Italia. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Smash the like button, subscribe, and comment down below what you think will happen on the stage. But until next time, see you in the next one.